England, 1864. The storm clouds gathered over Ashford estate like restless thoughts, their shadows brushing the ancient stone walls that had witnessed generations of whispered secrets. In a high window framed by ivy and climbing roses, Miss Evelyn Hart stood motionless, her breath soft against the glass. Though only 21, she carried the quiet sorrow of a woman who had waited a lifetime, loving a man she was never meant to claim. Beyond the manicured gardens and sweeping terraces, preparations for the grand ball stirred the household into elegant chaos. Silk gowns rustled, footmen hurried, laughter drifted faintly through the halls, a cruel reminder that the world she longed for might never open its doors to her. "Have you heard?" murmured Lady Clara Wellington to her companion as they passed below. Miss Hart still gazes after the Duke. How utterly hopeless. The words, though whispered, reached Evelyn with perfect clarity. They pierced sharp as winter air, yet she kept her spine straight, smoothing the pale fabric of her gown, as though composure could protect her heart. For duty demanded she accept the future her family chose for her, an arranged marriage of convenience. But the storm outside, and within, whispered otherwise. Was it foolishness to hope, or could a single night change everything? Before we continue, tell us in the comments which city you're watching this story from, leave your like to support the channel, and don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps this family of stories grow. The ballroom glittered with 1,000 lamps, casting sparkles that danced like dreams on polished marble floors. Gentle music flowed, intertwining with whispers of anticipation, as the elite of society assembled for the annual ball. When Duke Henry entered, the very air seemed to shift. Every gaze followed him, his presence commanding yet detached, like a king surveying his court from afar. Evelyn, clad in azure satin that contrasted beautifully with her auburn curls, felt her heart thrum wildly. Yet as she caught his eye, she felt the sting of recognition, the understanding that his affections lay elsewhere, tangled in the debutante's arms. There was a beauty in this spectacle, yet it felt painfully hollow, the promises of love and unity echoing empty in the grand space. She longed to step closer, to bridge the gap between their worlds, but barriers of pride and obligation locked her into place. The evening unfolded like a delicate flower, each moment blooming only to wither away as social duty choked its lifeblood. Evelyn stood at the edge of the gathering, her heart compressing with every laugh, every flirtatious exchange between Henry and Lady Clara. It was here, amidst the flashing smiles and teasing glances, that the shadows of isolation enveloped her. She felt like a ghost drifting within the laughter, invisible amid the vibrance of life, an observer yearning to be seen. In a grand hall brimming with opulence, her spirit felt starkly impoverished. The tears she once held at bay began to blur her vision, making each twirl and embrace of others, so effortless and merry, sting with the sharpness of rejection. Truly she had loved him for years in silence, yet now all that was left was the echo of her unrequited affection, silent as a whisper in a storm. As the night stretched on, the atmosphere of the ballroom thickened, saturated by rumors that floated through the air like embers from a dying fire. Each swirl of gossip carried the weight of obligation. Conversations dripped with the nuances of social maneuvering. Evelyn overheard the sycophants surrounding Lady Clara, their voices tinged with envy as they extolled her virtues and her planned life with the Duke. To them it was a union of prestige, a merging of power, dictated by a society that rewarded appearances above all. She felt fury bubbling beneath her surface. How could they diminish true love to mere social currency? Evelyn moved swiftly through the crowd, her mask firmly in place, a shield against the prying eyes that read her like a book. Yet, with every careful smile, every rehearsed nod, the distance between her heart and the Duke's grew insurmountable, casting her in emotional exile. Days melted into weeks, and the layers of longing pressed deeper within Evelyn's chest, carving a wound that throbbed with the silence of truths unspoken. In the stillness of her room, beneath the canopy of her bed, she clutched a letter, yellowed with age. Her mother's reflections on love, freedom, and the sacrifices of a heart enslaved. Evelyn's heart raced as she read the words again, the echoes of her mother resonating with the need to confront reality. She yearned for courage to step into the light, yet fear clung to her like a poisonous vine. The past was a tapestry, woven with the desires and regrets of both her mother's and her own unfulfilled dreams. With each word, Evelyn felt the toll of secrets kept at bay. She was but one heartache away from revelations that could change everything. The clock ticked on the mantel, each chime marking moments lost to indecision, reinforcing the notion that love required action, not mere longing. The invitation arrived like a fluttering leaf, light and full of promise. Thaddeus, in his unwavering loyalty, invited Evelyn for a ride through the lush gardens of Ashford. It was a generous retreat from the oppressive weight of societal expectations. As they rode side by side, laughter mingled with the sweet scent of blooming lilacs, their freedom momentarily escaping the suffocating rules of their world. The sun cast a warm glow upon them, illuminating their faces, and for the first time Evelyn leaned into the comfort of their connection, unguarded and genuine. Under the arching branches of a grand oak, secrets unfolded. Her voice trembled as she confessed her heart to Thaddeus, sharing the depths of her love for the Duke. His eyes reflected heartbreak at her longing yet firm resolve to support her, igniting an ember of vulnerability within Evelyn. In that serene moment, stripped of expectation, they discovered a profound intimacy, the ground beneath them shifting. They glimpsed the tender fragility of what could blossom, should yet another chance arise. Days turned into weeks, as spring's bloom transformed the gardens into a sanctuary of beauty and stillness. Evelyn found solace in her morning routines, tending to the flowers that mirrored the restlessness of her own heart. In the early hours, she often strolled the manicured paths, her fingers brushing the petals as she imagined them, whispering stories of love lost and found. She felt the gentle cadence of nature, reminding her of her connection to the world and the unspoken heartbeat of possibility. Meanwhile, a change brewed in the air, fraught with anticipation. The Duke began venturing frequently to the estate, puncturing the silence of her dream with bright glimmers of recognition. Each encounter felt electrifying, yet equally laden with the burdens of unfulfilled hopes. In the quiet detours of the heart, Evelyn's resolve hardened. She understood now that nature held beauty interlaced with the courage to breathe life into desires whispered in the shadows of faith. As summer approached, so too did a scandal that emerged like a lightning bolt, cleaving through the fabric of their tranquil lives. Whispers of financial ruin began to swirl around the Ashford estate, shaking the very foundation of its genteel reputation. Clara, armed with her ruthless ambition, sought to twist the narrative, glimpsing within it an opportunity to assert dominance over Henry. Threatening rumors of impulsive decisions and unwise investments aimed to break the Duke's spirit, manipulating the court's perception into chaos. Evelyn, flooded with concern for Henry, felt an urgent pull to intervene, battling the urge to distance herself from his tangled affairs. She could no longer remain a passive observer, trapped in a role of yearning. With Thaddeus at her side, together they ventured into the storm, determined to shield both the Duke and their fragile world from the tempest of deceit that threatened to unravel everything they held dear. The day of confrontation arrived cloaked in shadows. Evelyn stood on the precipice of fate, fear and determination colliding within her. The ballroom was a sea of worried faces, all eyes turned towards Henry and Clara as tensions mounted. With every whisper, every glance, Evelyn's resolve fortified, knowing that silence would lead to suffocation of her heart. Taking a step forward, she broke the surface tension, voice steady, yet imbued with raw emotion. The evening whirled into chaos as Evelyn shared the truths she had unearthed, about Clara's manipulations and familial burdens weighing on Henry. The accusations, steeped in the truth of both her love for him and the twisted schemes of power, rang through the hall, echoing despair and hope in equal measure. As her denouement arrived, the room held its breath, and the Duke's eyes ignited, understanding their connection as something more profound than tethered duty. In the moment, vulnerability shattered walls built by time. Truth illuminated paths once clouded by hesitation. With the storm behind them and social expectations shattered, the aftermath painted a landscape of possibilities. Evelyn and Henry stood together, emboldened by the truth, their bond evolving into something beautifully complex. The estate, once a prison of secrets, transformed under the light of renewal. Sunflowers danced in the garden, an emblem of their shared resilience, blooming brightly in defiance of the shadows that sought to oppress them. Their families, confronted with the power of love revealed, began to come together, forging new pathways that replaced the rigid constraints of obligation with the threads of possibility. As whispers of their union began to circulate, they embraced visions of a future that blazed like the sunset, vast and uncharted. This new life welcomed the cherished memories of heartbreak and triumph, an intertwined path toward understanding, healing, and love that dared to flourish even in the most turbulent of terrains. As the final curtain drew across the narrative, Evelyn reflected on the journey wreathed in pain and compassion. They had faced the tumultuous dance between duty and desire, navigated the tumult of society, and emerged not merely from obligation's grip, but as architects of their destiny. Life had taught her that love demanded courage. Sometimes it required the firing of willingness to expose one's heart to the possibility of deeper connection, to stand boldly against the tide of hurt. She turned to the audience, hearts hidden in their own shadows, with a gentle entreaty. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a reminder that love still heals. In that quiet moment, she understood that the essence of life lay in daring to embrace love, allowing it to guide, heal, and renew, all woven in the beautiful tapestry of human experience, underscoring that time, lost or found, carries the seeds of hope for every soul. The grand estate of Ashford stood proud against the backdrop of a tumultuous sky, dark clouds swirling like the unspoken emotions within its walls. Ivy clung lovingly to the ancient stone, while rose bushes bloomed, vibrant against the gloom, whispering of hope in secret. Within this abode of splendor, Evelyn Hart stood staring out a window, her breath fogging the glass. The weight of years spent in silent admiration for the Duke filled her heart with both fierce hope and quiet despair. This space, so rich with elegance, felt like a gilded cage, beautiful on the outside yet stifling deep within. The wind carried a hint of rain, as if nature itself understood her locked-away desires. Would the storm finally bring change? Could the heart's soft implorations echo past the imposing walls? As the day of the grand ball approached, tension wrapped around Evelyn like a tightly knotted ribbon. Society had cast its formidable shadows, reminding her of her humble status in a world that dictated lives with unyielding precision. Her family's duty required her to embrace an arranged marriage, one designed to secure alliances rather than loyal hearts. Each flutter of her pulse echoed her deep-seated longing for the Duke, yet the ever-looming presence of Lady Clara Wellington, a woman steeped in expectation, tethered Evelyn's yearning to a distant dream. A heavy sigh escaped her lips as she climbed the staircase of possibilities, each step a painful reminder of the invisible chains binding her heart. Would she dare to shirk the weight of duty for the fleeting promise of desire? The ballroom glittered with 1,000 lamps, casting sparkles that danced like dreams on polished marble floors. Gentle music flowed, intertwining with whispers of anticipation as the elite of society assembled for the annual ball. When Duke Henry entered, the very air seemed to shift. Every gaze followed him, his presence commanding yet detached, like a king surveying his court from afar. Evelyn, clad in azure satin that contrasted beautifully with her auburn curls, felt her heart thrum wildly. Yet, as she caught his eye, she felt the sting of recognition, the understanding that his affections lay elsewhere, tangled in the debutante's arms. There was a beauty in this spectacle, yet it felt painfully hollow, the promises of love and unity echoing empty in the grand space. She longed to step closer, to bridge the gap between their worlds, but barriers of pride and obligation locked her into place. The evening unfolded like a delicate flower, each moment blooming only to wither away as social duty choked its lifeblood. Evelyn stood at the edge of the gathering, her heart compressing with every laugh, every flirtatious exchange between Henry and Lady Clara. It was here, amidst the flashing smiles and teasing glances, that the shadows of isolation enveloped her. She felt like a ghost drifting within the laughter, invisible amid the vibrance of life, an observer yearning to be seen. In a grand hall brimming with opulence, her spirit felt starkly impoverished. The tears she once held at bay began to blur her vision, making each twirl an embrace of others. So effortless and merry sting with the sharpness of rejection. Truly, she had loved him for years in silence, yet now all that was left was the echo of her unrequited affection, silent as a whisper in a storm. As the night stretched on, the atmosphere of the ballroom thickened, saturated by rumors that floated through the air like embers from a dying fire. Each swirl of gossip carried the weight of obligation. Conversations dripped with the nuances of social maneuvering. Evelyn overheard the sycophants surrounding Lady Clara, their voices tinged with envy as they extolled her virtues and her planned life with the Duke. To them, it was a union of prestige, a merging of power, dictated by a society that rewarded appearances above all. She felt fury bubbling beneath her surface. How could they diminish true love to mere social currency? Evelyn moved swiftly through the crowd, her mask firmly in place, a shield against the prying eyes that read her like a book. Yet with every careful smile, every rehearsed nod, the distance between her heart and the Duke's grew insurmountable, casting her in emotional exile. Days melted into weeks, and the layers of longing pressed deeper within Evelyn's chest, carving a wound that throbbed with the silence of truths unspoken. In the stillness of her room, beneath the canopy of her bed, she clutched a letter, yellowed with age, her mother's reflections on love, freedom, and the sacrifices of a heart enslaved. Evelyn's heart raced as she read the words again, the echoes of her mother resonating with the need to confront reality. She yearned for courage to step into the light, yet fear clung to her like a poisonous vine. The past was a tapestry woven with the desires and regrets of both her mother's and her own unfulfilled dreams. With each word, Evelyn felt the toll of secrets kept at bay. She was but one heartache away from revelations that could change everything. The clock ticked on the mantel, each chime marking moments lost to indecision, reinforcing the notion that love required action, not mere longing. The invitation arrived like a fluttering leaf, light and full of promise. Thaddeus, in his unwavering loyalty, invited Evelyn for a ride through the lush gardens of Ashford. It was a generous retreat from the oppressive weight of societal expectations. As they rode side by side, laughter mingled with the sweet scent of blooming lilacs, their freedom momentarily escaping the suffocating rules of their world. The sun cast a warm glow upon them, illuminating their faces, and for the first time, Evelyn leaned into the comfort of their connection, unguarded and genuine. Under the arching branches of a grand oak, secrets unfolded. Her voice trembled as she confessed her heart to Thaddeus, sharing the depths of her love for the Duke. His eyes reflected heartbreak at her longing yet firm resolve to support her, igniting an ember of vulnerability within Evelyn. In that serene moment, stripped of expectation, they discovered a profound intimacy, the ground beneath them shifting. They glimpsed the tender fragility of what could blossom, should yet another chance arise. Days turned into weeks, as spring's bloom transformed the gardens into a sanctuary of beauty and stillness. Evelyn found solace in her morning routines, tending to the flowers that mirrored the restlessness of her own heart. In the early hours, she often strolled the manicured paths, her fingers brushing the petals as she imagined them whispering stories of love lost and found. She felt the gentle cadence of nature, reminding her of her connection to the world and the unspoken heartbeat of possibility. Meanwhile, a change brewed in the air, fraught with anticipation. The Duke began venturing frequently to the estate, puncturing the silence of her dream with bright glimmers of recognition. Each encounter felt electrifying, yet equally laden with the burdens of unfulfilled hopes. In the quiet detours of the heart, Evelyn's resolve hardened. She understood now that nature held beauty interlaced with the courage to breathe life into desires whispered in the shadows of faith. As summer approached, so too did a scandal that emerged like a lightning bolt, cleaving through the fabric of their tranquil lives. Whispers of financial ruin began to swirl around the Ashford estate, shaking the very foundation of its genteel reputation. Clara, armed with her ruthless ambition, sought to twist the narrative, glimpsing within it an opportunity to assert dominance over Henry. Threatening rumors of impulsive decisions and unwise investments aimed to break the Duke's spirit, manipulating the court's perception into chaos. Evelyn, flooded with concern for Henry, felt an urgent pull to intervene, battling the urge to distance herself from his tangled affairs. She could no longer remain a passive observer, trapped in a role of yearning. With Thaddeus at her side, together they ventured into the storm, determined to shield both the Duke and their fragile world from the tempest of deceit that threatened to unravel everything they held dear. The day of confrontation arrived cloaked in shadows. Evelyn stood on the precipice of fate, fear and determination colliding within her. The ballroom was a sea of worried faces, all eyes turned towards Henry and Clara as tensions mounted. With every whisper, every glance, Evelyn's resolve fortified. knowing that silence would lead to suffocation of her heart. Taking a step forward, she broke the surface tension, voice steady, yet imbued with raw emotion. The evening whirled into chaos as Evelyn shared the truth she had unearthed about Clara's manipulations and familial burdens weighing on Henry. The accusations, steeped in the truth of both her love for him and the twisted schemes of power, rang through the hall, echoing despair and hope in equal measure. As her denouement arrived, the room held its breath, and the Duke's eyes ignited, understanding their connection as something more profound than tethered duty. In the moment, vulnerability shattered walls built by time, truth illuminated paths once clouded by hesitation. With the storm behind them and social expectations shattered, the aftermath painted a landscape of possibilities. Evelyn and Henry stood together, emboldened by the truth, their bond evolving into something beautifully complex. The estate, once a prison of secrets, transformed under the light of renewal. Sunflowers danced in the garden, an emblem of their shared resilience, blooming brightly in defiance of the shadows that sought to oppress them. Their families, confronted with the power of love revealed, began to come together, forging new pathways that replaced the rigid constraints of obligation with the threads of possibility. As whispers of their union began to circulate, they embraced visions of a future that blazed like the sunset, vast and uncharted. This new life welcomed the cherished memories of heartbreak and triumph, an intertwined path toward understanding, healing, and love that dared to flourish even in the most turbulent of terrains. As the final curtain drew across the narrative, Evelyn reflected on the journey wreathed in pain and compassion. They had faced the tumultuous dance between duty and desire, navigated the tumult of society, and emerged not merely from obligation's grip, but as architects of their destiny. Life had taught her that love demanded courage. Sometimes it required the firing of willingness to expose one's heart to the possibility of deeper connection, to stand boldly against the tide of hurt. She turned to the audience, hearts hidden in their own shadows, with a gentle entreaty. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a reminder that love still heals. In that quiet moment, she understood that the essence of life lay in daring to embrace love, allowing it to guide, heal, and renew, all woven in the beautiful tapestry of human experience, underscoring that time, lost or found, carries the seeds of hope for every soul. The warm rays of dawn eagerly crept through the tall windows of Ashford Manor, illuminating Evelyn as she dressed in the gentle light that heralded the first day of a new season. This moment, serene and quiet, spoke of possibilities that danced in the corridors of her mind like restless spirits. Each sound, the rustle of silk, the soft click of her heels against the wooden floor, echoed with the promise of transformation. Behind her, the garden flourished. The vibrant petals opened wide in welcome, an explosion of color reminiscent of her own awakening heart. Outside, the world began to stir, and the scents of freshly bloomed jasmine mingled with morning dew, invigorating her palpable anticipation. Today was no ordinary day. It was the dawn of her determination and a pivotal turning point in the tale of her heart's desires, one she pledged to embrace with every ounce of courage she could muster against the tides of fate. In the soft glow of morning, the stark realities of social duty loomed once more, casting long shadows over her heart. Evelyn resolved to confront her family about her role in the impending engagement and to speak openly of her feelings for the Duke. They had often treated her affection as a child's naive fancy, yet the truth could no longer remain unaddressed. As she descended the winding staircase, the air felt thick with a cocktail of anticipation and dread. Her mother awaited, the authoritative Lady Margaret Hart, a steadfast figure bound by the legacy of duty and respectability. Their conversation unfolded slowly, layered with both love and misunderstanding. Each word exchanged felt like an emotional tightrope walk, precarious yet essential, tethered to the dreams Evelyn had crafted in the shadows of her heart. Would they allow her the freedom to pursue her true desires, or would the chains of obligation bind her to a destiny not of her choosing? The estate was bustling with activity as preparations for the engagement ceremony fractured the stillness that had long defined its serenity. From the moment she entered the drawing room, Evelyn was drawn into a web of expectations, every detail meticulously curated to highlight the union that felt like an untouchable dream. Lady Clara, resplendent in her gown, swept through the room like a queen in her court, each nod and smile measured and calculated to win over the gathering elite. Yet the sight stirred within Evelyn a quiet rebellion. The spectacle felt like a cold marriage of ambition, devoid of true affection. The ballroom awaited, shrouded in anticipation, as whispers rippled among attendees, each eager to taste the drama brewing between them. But as Evelyn caught a glimpse of Henry through the throng, her breath quickened. In his gaze she found not just the fleeting memory of love, but the potential for something real. In that moment of heart's clarity, she resolved to unearth the truth of their emotions before the candlelight of opportunity extinguished forever. The gathering morphed into a display of social maneuvering. Evelyn felt the weight of every eye upon her, fueling her disquietude. Surrounded by laughter, she felt the sharp edges of isolation deepen as Clara and Henry twirled seamlessly across the room. Each step he took with her was a dagger to Evelyn's heart, piercing through her hopes with a finality that chilled her resolve. She recalled her mother's warnings, the tales of her ancestors who had succumbed to their fates, princesses imprisoned by duty. Was she to follow the same path? This masquerade felt like a funeral for the dreams she'd nurtured throughout her days. Leaning against the grand pillars, bitterness mingling with hope, Evelyn felt the overwhelming pull of rejection tightening its grip. It was a haunting realization that sometimes the greatest love stories linger in unexpressed words, lost in the vast expanse between longing and acceptance, nestled into the shadows where only the brave dare to tread. As the music swelled, Evelyn slipped into the haze of the buoyant atmosphere, masking her heartache behind the practiced smile of a dutiful daughter. Conversations buzzed around her, layers of gossip entwined with societal expectations, as the elite of London revelled in their prescriptive roles. Whispers danced through tapestries and echoed off the polished floors. "Did you hear of Lady Clara's influential connections?" And, "The Duke is certainly making a wise choice." Each word dripped with an artifice Evelyn found suffocating. Alongside her despair, she felt a flicker of rebellion igniting her spirit. Would society claim her autonomy, or would she claim her own narrative? In these sparkling confines lined with the remnants of her dreams, she resolved to craft her own adventure, as fragile as gossamer, yet as fierce as summer's thunderstorm. It was the tumult of her heart against the polished facade, with every note of music beckoning her to transcend the cage of expectation and seek her truth. The days that followed the ball were heavy, laden with an ache that seeped into every corner of her life. Evelyn roamed the estate, her thoughts drowning in the depths of her unacknowledged feelings. In the confines of her solitude, she sought solace under the branches of the ancient oak tree, the very witness to her silent suffering and hope. Delicate letters of longing filled her journals, tales unshared with a world that deemed them too poignant for an unworthy heart. Glancing at the polished pages, she realized these were not merely the remnant emotions of a naive girl, but the chronicles of a love that had shaped her into a woman poised between her heart's desires and the obligations thrust upon her. Each stroke of the quill illuminated the wounds hidden beneath her dreams. Her narratives danced across paper, crafting a tapestry of longing so vivid it nearly took on a life of its own. In facing the secrets of her heart, she understood that love, while enshrouded in pain, would be the beacon guiding her toward redemption. The landscape shifted dramatically on the eve of a garden gathering. Evelyn found clarity in the vibrant colors around her, each flower a reminder of beauty amidst chaos. It was within this mosaic that she noticed Henry, his troubled gaze focused on the sky as he contemplated unuttered thoughts. Their eyes locked in a moment that felt suspended in time. She felt her breath catch, a rare communion that drew her closer. Driven by an inexplicable force, they gravitated toward each other, as if unable to resist the magnetic pull of shared solitude. With hesitant grace, Evelyn approached him, laughter twinkling in the air like distant chimes. This time, there would be no facade. The walls they built began to tremble, flickering with the promise of truths laid bare. As they spoke of dreams and fears, they discovered the language of souls, the warmth and understanding binding them deeper than mere obligation. Evelyn felt her heart finally stir with possibility, surrendering to the enchanting bloom of vulnerability that surged in their shared space. As spring unfolded, each morning brought new joys, the scent of dewy grass and blooming flowers whispering secrets of hope to Evelyn. In this sacred realm, she felt her spirit lifting amidst the vibrancy of colors that adorned the gardens of Ashford. Days spent with Henry in these lush surroundings became a cherished sanctuary, their laughter mingling with the melodious hum of nature. They strolled along the winding paths, conversations flowing freely, unencumbered by the societal chains that usually bound them. The joy of shared silences transformed into abundant feelings for one another, sewing threads of connection in the shimmering stillness of nature. Yet, within this bubble of bliss, shadows loomed. Each fleeting moment felt like a countdown to an inevitable ending. Evelyn longed to break free from the constraints that bound their hearts, urging Henry to unveil the true depth of their bond before it withered under the harsh scrutiny of the world outside. The allure of freedom became an insistent drumbeat in her chest, urging her toward the precipice of a choice that could shatter the quietude of their existence. Just as spring seemed to cradle the promise of new love, the unfolding of calamity loomed like a dark cloud over Ashford. News of the estate's dire implications seeped through the cracks, an unwelcome whisper that threatened the fragile tapestry they had woven. The financial strain became a tangible chill in the air, making each laughter echo with an unspoken weight. Clara moved seamlessly through the societal circles, capitalizing on the chaos to shroud Henry in judgments cloaked under the guise of concern. The rumors turned venomous. They wrapped around Evelyn, entangling her in fear for both her heart and the man she loved. She felt powerless as uncertainty began to cast shadows upon the garden that had once felt so alive, every bloom seemingly steeped in her heavy heart. It was in this moment of turmoil that she realized love sometimes meant bold action, not just heartfelt whispers. Determined, she steeled herself for battle, knowing she might need to risk it all, challenge Clara, protect Henry, and cure the fragile seed of love that had taken root within her soul. The gathering that followed was charged with tension. The ballroom trembled under the weight of unfulfilled promises, swirling rumors and personal stakes that rose to the surface like a tempest brewed against a moonless sky. Evelyn felt the urgency coursing through her veins as she stepped forward, her voice melding courage with vulnerability. The room fell into a hushed silence, as if the walls themselves awaited the unveiling of secrets that had festered in the shadows. With each word she spoke, unraveling Clara's underhanded dealings and the manipulative facade she constructed, Evelyn felt her heart pounding, amplified by the freedom of at last voicing the truth. Henry stood beside her, the turmoil in his eyes turning toward determination. In that moment, justice found its wings. The revelation surged through the crowd, igniting a tumult of emotions that shook the very foundation of Ashford. And as Clara's mask slipped away, revealing the depth of her treachery, a sense of catharsis flowed through the room, where sorrow and triumph fused, opening a door to healing and the acknowledgement of genuine love amid chaos. In the whirlwind aftermath, as the shadows of scandal receded, a new chapter began to unfurl beneath the vibrant sky. Evelyn and Henry emerged from the rubble strengthened, their love forged in the fire of adversity. The gardens, once flourishing in mere beauty, now blossomed anew with rich purpose. Their families, witnessing the unwavering bond that had survived the storm, began to extend hands toward reconciliation and mutual understanding. A sense of regeneration enveloped the estate, where every petal danced in celebration, marking the rebirth of futures less defined by duty and more aligned with love. Amidst their voyages of self-discovery, Evelyn and Henry made promises to each other, infused with the wisdom of acceptance and compassion that only hardship could teach. Old resentments faded like morning mist, replaced by vibrant connections. As they stood together in the embrace of deeper love, a symphony of hope reverberated throughout Ashford anew, signaling a future brightened by choice, compassion, and the sweet fragrance of newfound freedom. One peaceful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, igniting the sky in swaths of gold and indigo, Evelyn turned towards those gathered and shared the lesson that had shaped her journey. Life, my friends, is an intricate tapestry, woven with threads of love and heartache, binding us in both courage and vulnerability. Each moment of despair led me here, to stand alongside the Duke, where love flourished amid uncertainty. Her gaze flickered over the faces of those she held dear, each touched by the echoes of their own trials. We must embrace the love waiting patiently behind our doubts, for it is only through the courage to seek our truth that we find our place in this world. With the warmth of her heart laid bare, she gestured toward the expansive horizon, radiating with potential. If this story touched you, be reminded that love still heals and that every journey is worth pursuing. Share your own tales of love and loss with kindness, illuminating the paths of others in despair. The gentle call hung in the air, a beacon of hope resonating in every heart that sought solace. The dawn of a new day broke over Ashford Manor, casting a soft golden hue that tenderly kissed the dewy gardens, awakening life anew. Evelyn emerged, her heart buoyed by hope and resilience, feeling the warmth of the sun chase away the shadows that once clouded her spirit. The estate buzzed with the muted excitement of preparations for the summer ball, an event born not merely of obligation, but of joy, celebrating the liberation of their souls. Lush blooms swayed gently with the breeze, a mesmerizing dance reflecting the newfound love that flourished within her heart. She meandered along the familiar paths, each step imbued with the confidence that had eluded her not long ago, her voice accompanied by the whispered secrets of flowers as if they were breathing life into her aspirations. Today, she would embrace every facet of her being, each glance and caress against the petals, a testament to the passion that now permeated her life, casting aside the remnants of doubt that once anchored her spirit. As the hour of revelry approached, Evelyn felt the weight of anticipation surrounding her, yet it no longer bore the same heaviness of expectation that had once shackled her heart. The preparations filled the mansion with laughter and chatter, transforming it into a cocoon of vibrant energy. Lady Margaret flitted around, ensuring that every detail exuded perfection, her own excitement palpable as she relished the newfound freedom her daughter had discovered. A flicker of pride welled within Evelyn as she helped with the final touches, the act of crafting their evening becoming an expression of her heart's desires rather than a mere obligation. She felt a new connection with her mother, one built on understanding rather than adherence to propriety. Their bond had strengthened, no longer just a daughter seeking approval, but a woman who would live her truth, shaping her destiny alongside the love she had always yearned for. In this emotionally charged atmosphere, she resolved to seize the day, unearthing the courage to weave her own story amidst the expectations of society. The evening finally arrived, transforming Ashford Manor into a spectacle of light, laughter, and elegance. The ballroom shimmered, chandeliers casting a stoic brilliance over the finely attired guests, their laughter echoing against the painted walls, a sound that felt at once joyous, yet tinged with a distant melancholy. As Evelyn stepped into the room, adorned in a gown of deep emerald satin, her heart raced. The fabric clung to her frame as if it had been spun from the finest threads of her spirit. Every gaze turned her way, admiration and envy mingling in the air, yet she allowed herself to breathe, to feel at once vulnerable and empowered in the spotlight. Just beyond her, the Duke's presence ignited the chamber, his smile warm yet distant, a reminder that the journey they embarked upon had only just begun. This gathering, a celebration not just of union but of newfound freedoms, was the perfect backdrop for the fervent hopes she still harbored. Unbeknownst to all, beneath the tapestries of grandeur lay the raw and tender fabric of change, the heart of a woman prepared to rewrite her own destiny. As the night progressed, the laughter became a bittersweet melody floating in the air. Evelyn found herself caught in a tug of war, her heart swaying between joy and an unshakable ache. While friends danced and twirled effortlessly, she felt isolated amidst the merriment, an echoing reminder of what had been. The slight glances shared between Henry and Clara sent ripples of doubt through her heart, stirring an old fear that told her she would again remain unseen, a silent participant in her own narrative. Every meeting of their gazes tore at her courage, enmeshed within a myriad of thoughts that played upon heartbreak. Could she ever truly stand alongside the Duke, or was the fate of her heart sealed in shadows that clung to her? Torn between illusions of possibility and the harsh realities of her past, tears prickled at the corners of her eyes, fighting to break free amidst the elegance surrounding her. In that singular moment, she realized that sometimes rejection came not only from others, but also from oneself, a misalignment feared to dream too deeply. The atmosphere buzzed with gossip and curiosity. Whispers snaked through the gathering like ivy, conjoining secrets with frayed edges of dissatisfaction. Rumors of fortune and calculated unions were tossed around among guests who swayed to the infectious symphony, each one more entertaining than the last. Lady Clara, radiant in her chosen splendor, paraded through the crowd, painting a picture of confidence as if the scrutiny around her were merely a distant echo. But to Evelyn, the interplay unfurled as a twisted tapestry of unspoken truths. She could feel the weight of judgment pressing into the fabric of their interactions as the crowd glanced towards the Duke with conspiratorial whispers. As much as Evelyn sought to hide, her heart thudded with purpose. Their eyes met across the crowded room, his gaze swirling with complexities that spoke of connections deepened in shared experiences. Empowered and undeterred, Evelyn steeled herself to face this arena of judgment, invigorated by the knowledge that forging her path meant embracing not only hope, but also the intricate web of potential love, which demanded she shine brightly against the impending scrutiny. In the days that followed the ball, the shapes of doubt loomed larger, cascading through the shadows of desire. Evelyn immersed herself in reflection, wrestling with her own heart's tapestry. Outside the manor, the garden flourished, yet inside she felt tangled in her emotions, longing for clarity amid the overwhelming silence. In the writing shed, surrounded by crumpled parchment and ink-stained fingers, she poured out her thoughts. The winding narratives of love and longing spilled onto each page, bearing witness to her turmoil and the powerful yet delicate turns of love's dance. Every letter she penned explored the profound depths of her heart, revealing wounds that whispered of vulnerability. Yet, within these pages, she embraced the healing that comes with truth, wielding her quill as a sword against the judgment surrounding her. She understood then that by allowing herself to confront the secrets she harbored, she could transform pain into resilience, fear into strength. The words became a balm, stitching together the pieces of her fractured heart, guiding her toward the ultimate realization that vulnerability could be her greatest strength. The golden light of early summer beckoned as Evelyn and Henry arranged their fateful meeting under the sprawling branches of the ancient oak. It was a space that felt sacred, cocooned in the whispers of warm breezes, a sanctuary where truth could eventually flourish. From a distance she spotted him, his eyes gleaming with a mixture of anticipation and uncertainty, the young Duke she had admired for so long, now laced with complexities. As she stepped forward, their connection sparked like a live wire, crackling with unspoken emotions and shared experiences. Here, under the vast canopy of nature, no societal constraints nestled between their hearts. Their words blossomed in the fertile soil of honesty. Evelyn spoke of her trials endured in silence, and of the secrets that lay heavy upon her heart. In turn, Henry unmasked the struggles he endured, a man torn between duty and desire, longing to break free from expectations, awakening to the realization love was worth the uncertainty, worth every risk. Their closeness molded as hands brushed upon casual touches. Breaths mingled and laughter echoed, stitching together a bond encased in vulnerability and an innocent trust that invited the possibility of unfurling hearts. As the days grew warmer, life within the gardens flourished, each bloom a testimony to the transforming power of hope. Evelyn spent countless hours within its embrace, finding sanctuary amidst the vibrant blossoms, allowing the delicate beauty to permeate her soul. Each dawn unfolded new adventures, from impromptu picnics beneath the willow trees to hushed conversations that spurred intimacy in rich baritone tones. Henry, drawn to her side, began to shed the armor he had worn so resolutely, the unyielding masks of duty falling like autumn leaves. They wove laughter amidst nature's splendid tapestry, capturing moments and memories they shared in secret, unrepentant expressions of joy that flowed from their hearts into the open air. The connection between them shimmered like sunlight filtering through leaves, fostering a burgeoning romance against society's unwavering scrutiny. In every giggle shared, every smile exchanged amongst the flowers, Evelyn felt the lightening of her heart, the gentle assurance that love could conquer the deepest of fears, and the hesitation that lingered like stray clouds over their destinies. But just as their love began to flourish, tremors of turmoil threatened to upend their newfound happiness. Whispers of Clara's machinations slithered through society like serpents prowling in the night, attempting to claim their stake in the narrative. Evelyn felt her heart racing as she became consumed by the weight of the impending crisis. The unyielding grasp of societal norms threatened to plunge them back into shadows. Clara's influence loomed large, a balloon filled with poison, masked by elegant charm. It clung to every gathering and about every decision, snuffing out any light that dared to break through the clouds of doubt. In a moment of despair, Evelyn grasped her own resolve tightly, urging Henry to confront the darkness swirling around them. With Thaddeus at her side and her deeper connections fortified, she felt prepared to defy the whirlwind of social expectations, ready to protect their love against the faltering tide threatening to consume them. It became clear that love, no matter how vibrant, required diligent fortitude. They stood at the precipice of a battle sparked by the flame of their hearts against the cold cruelty of a world devoid of compassion. The hour of reckoning arrived, the ballroom now a tempest of emotions filled with hushed apprehension. Evelyn stood resolute, heart racing but determination shining bright within her, determined to protect the world they had cultivated together. The guests filled the room, the air crackling with electric potential, as reflections of duty versus desire roiled in the edges of discontent. With Henry standing beside her, she stepped forward to meet Clara's gaze with a cool, unwavering resolve. Stepping into the light, Evelyn recounted every bitter truth she had discovered. Clara's schemes laid bare before the judgment of society. The moment hung, fraught with a mixture of hope and fear, as they watched Clara's veneer begin to crack, revealing the venom embedded within her carefully curated mask. Shouts and gasps filled the chamber, storming around them as justice surged forward. Yet even as the room prepared to echo with bitter consequences, something changed in the air. The knowledge that together, their love had ignited a fire, illuminating the defining power of honesty and hope, and exposing the decay of self-serving manipulation. With Clara exposed, the road ahead unfolded with renewed promise. The societal quake faded into whispers of hope, allowing love to blossom unshackled from the chains of expectation. Evelyn and Henry emerged united, their hearts now singing in harmony. They were not just lovers but partners, determined to shape their narratives alongside the joy and healing they had found together. As bride and groom, they stood before their families, witnessing a blossoming reconciliation. Old wounds began to heal under the warm embrace of understanding. Their families gathered in celebration, transitioning from remnants of bitterness to a commitment of shared happiness. In the gardens that flourished anew, the couple vowed to live unbound by conscription, cherishing each sunrise that gifted them a blank canvas to color in hues of compassion, respect, and love. A path stretched before them, illuminated by the intertwining essence of their dreams. They dared to walk hand in hand, capturing each fleeting moment and dancing freely through the symphony of life, expressing the richness of an existence embraced together. As dusk descended upon Ashford, wrapping the estate in its twilight embrace, Evelyn stood with Henry by the garden, reflecting on their journey. Surrounded by blooming flowers and bright stars, she felt an overwhelming swell of gratitude. "We are the architects of our destinies," she said, her voice steady yet warm. "We found each other amidst the chaos, and love taught us to overcome the shadows of our past." Together, they knew that their love was an unyielding force, one that had transformed pain into purpose and solitude into solace. Looking out at the crowd gathered to celebrate their union, she beckoned with her heart, urging everyone present to acknowledge their own journeys. "Embrace love boldly, for it is a lesson in courage and an antidote to despair." She turned to meet their eyes, her expression imbued with hope. "This story is but a chapter. Write your own tales and share them, for love still heals." Each heart enveloped in the melody of her words became a tapestry of promise, bound together by the wisdom they had unearthed, the resounding truth that love, unwavering and pure, would always guide them home. The sun began its descent, casting a warm and inviting glow across the gardens of Ashford Manor, transforming the estate into a dreamscape of hues. Evelyn stood amongst the blossoming roses, their delicate petals glistening with dew, echoing all that had transpired. The vibrant colors mirrored her own heart, once weighed down by unrequited love, now bursting forth in resplendent shades of joy and anticipation. She inhaled deeply, the scent of honeysuckle and jasmine entwining in the air, a fragrant reminder of the journey that had led her to this moment. With laughter and music pouring forth from the grand ballroom, the sounds wove a tapestry of hope that reverberated through each petal around her. Families and friends, united in celebration, shared in the promise of their love, a dance of destinies weaving closer together beneath the arching branches of the ancient oak. In this transcendent moment, Adorned in the evening light, Evelyn felt the vibrant pulse of life itself, a joy ignited by love's embrace that coursed through her being, illuminating the beauty of every fleeting second. As twilight fully enveloped the garden, Evelyn stood amidst clusters of friends, laughter bubbling forth from their joyful spirits. For so long she had felt torn between duty and desire, burdened by the expectations of her station. Yet now it felt like the essence of her journey had flourished in the shadows, the beauty of love unfolding slowly, each petal revealing deeper truths. Henry, ever the Duke, moved gracefully amongst the guests, yet stayed ever attuned to her presence. Each glance exchanged bridged the invisible distance of expectations, laid bare against their burgeoning connection. As she prepared to share her first dance with him, a surge of excitement coursed through her. The music swelled, a melodic pledge that surrounded them like a warm embrace, a private moment in the grand tapestry of celebration. She felt the gentle reminder that true love did not conform to societal expectations. It flourished in the tender spaces between their hearts. In that shared dance, the echoes of ambiguity faded, replaced by the undeniable truth. They were no longer defined by their titles, but rather forged by the ardent fire of their union. As the evening deepened, the atmosphere within the ballroom balled into a rich tapestry of warmth and joy. The spectacle of their celebration mirrored the love story that had evolved ambitiously before their eyes. The opulent chandeliers swayed gently overhead, casting a celestial glow that enchanted the gathering. Every glittering gown and polished shoe whispered of elegance, yet beneath the glimmer lay an undercurrent of something more genuine. Evelyn remained aware of the beauty created from two souls uniting in love, sometimes stifled by the pressures of performative grandeur. With Henry at her side, she flourished beneath the glow of admiration, yet never lost sight of the quiet strength that had emboldened her spirit. This ball was but a surface, a celebration of their intertwining lives, a reflection of the profound resilience born out of challenge, and the courage to embrace the beauty of love. In every waltz and melodic phrase exchanged between couples, she understood that beyond the spectacle, deeper connections would shape legacies far richer and true than status or appearance could ever dictate. Dancing amongst the flowers of love's bloom, Evelyn felt joy intertwined with residual emotions. The remnants of past heartbreak lingered softly, like shadows embracing the light. The joy surrounded her, yet somewhere beneath the celebratory veneer lurked the ghost of doubt, trying to worm its way back into her heart. During a fleeting moment within the crowd, she saw Clara watching from the fringes, the expression on her face a mix of envy and regret. It was a sudden jolt, a reminder that some hearts remain tethered to the shadows of their decisions and the relentless pursuit of power. Yet, trying to shake off doubt, Evelyn drew strength from Henry's reassuring presence. His hand gripped hers firmly as they danced, grounding her spirit against the pull of despair. Together they spun into the music, reminding her that the strength of their love eclipsed old scars, offering the chance to forge a vibrant future, unclouded by lingering fears of rejection. She understood now that every moment of vulnerability they shared molded the foundation upon which they would build a compelling love story, woven with threads of empowerment and unwavering connection. The jubilant crowd swirled around them, each laugh a note in the symphony of their joyous union. Conversations fluttered like butterflies in the air, gossip weaving in and out of narratives that celebrated the newly forged relationship between Evelyn and Henry. Friends and family shared stories, recounting the lovers' trials transformed into triumphs, tales punctuated with admiration for their brave defiance against the norms binding them. Yet, amidst the laughter, Evelyn caught snippets of skepticism, the honed edge of envy dancing through the voices, a reminder that not all shared in their happiness. Clara's name slipped through whispered comments, wrapped in velvet tones that surfaced like ink stains on fine silk. While it stung, Evelyn felt empowered by the knowledge she had gained through pain, the understanding that love prevailed beyond judgments, that vulnerability was its greatest strength. In the spectacle of the surroundings, the warmth of acceptance from their loved ones fortified her spirit. She realized that together they could rise above expectations, crafting a narrative far richer than any that had preceded them. As the evening unfolded, tales assuredly spun, weaving the fabric of community and connection celebrated that night, providing solace to each participant. Yet, in the quiet moments, Evelyn felt the weight of secrets, shadows trailing behind perspectives that sought recognition. She recalled the vulnerable threads of her own journey, the heartbreak hidden beneath layers of sparkling gowns and radiant smiles. In whispered conversations and stolen glances, fragments of her past remained, the countless nights spent contemplating the niggling awareness that love could often feel out of reach. Those memories wove a delicate tapestry of emotion, crafting a learning curve revealing how love, while immensely powerful, could also mirror the very essence of vulnerability she had once feared to embrace. As she lingered within the crowd, wrestling with those remnants of pain, she understood it was essential to acknowledge such wounds, not to allow them to haunt her, but to allow love's embrace to envelop them in warmth. Only then could she transform the lingering shadows into stepping stones for growth, guiding her toward a future, illuminated by both truth and bravery. At the heart of the ball, the orchestra picked up the tempo, igniting the atmosphere with pulsating energy. As couples reoriented for a new waltz, Evelyn felt the call, an insistent urge for connection. With a determined heart, she sought out Henry, their eyes locking in a moment that suspended time. He enveloped her in warmth, drawing her close as they began to sway together, lost in a world that thrived on the rhythm of their hearts. The proximity brought about an undeniable intimacy, allowing unguarded laughter to spill forth as their bodies moved in perfect unison. With every twirl, their spirits intertwined. A symphony of longing morphed into a celebration symphony. The lightness of their strides almost belied the depths they had traversed, through layers of anticipation, heartbreak, and jealousy, leading toward this radiant embrace. In that moment, they danced not as two individuals, but as a singular entity, laughter ringing in sync with their heartbeats, empowering each aside to truly stand alongside the other, bravely conquering the shadows of scrutiny surrounding them. As the evening continued, laughter drifted in the night air like a soothing lullaby, a promise of connection and a continued journey toward love. The garden spilled over with flowers, each bloom shimmering under the ethereal glow of moonlight, welcoming guests as night softened into intimacy. Amidst dance and camaraderie, Evelyn and Henry found themselves wandering the garden, seeking sanctuary in this sacred realm. They breathed deeply, inhaling the scent of lilacs that danced with the night breeze, each inhale filled with the delicate anticipation that love ignited within them. Here, amid the beauty of nature, free from societal judgment, they discovered a quietude in one another that felt wholly nourishing. Here they could share hopes, fears, and dreams as the moon traced its gentle path across the sky, a witness to their hearts finally intertwining. Surrounded by the cadence of whispering leaves and soft lullabies of nocturnal life, they understood that together they could confront the world, armed with a love that blossomed uniquely amid the turmoil of life, forged in their shared truths and the resilience to continue forging forward. Yet, amidst their fervent love blossoming, whispers of uncertainty danced in the corners of their union, shadows lurking as hints of impending turmoil crept through the crowd at the height of the evening's cheer. Clara emerged anew, thousands of glittering eyes upon her as she launched a final retaliatory approach, using the chic facade of concern to undermine everything Evelyn held dear. In that moment, the atmosphere shifted, darkened clouds mingling with the warmth of celebration. Evelyn's heart raced as Clara, cloaked in envy, yet masked in charm, advanced toward them, her facade trapped behind a polished smile while eyes smoldered with jealousy. Feeling the surge of confidence test against Clara's icy demeanor, Evelyn endeavored to confront all the unresolved pain twining between them, determined to stand her ground. No longer a passive observer in her own story, she would expose the shadows threatening to eclipse her love. Armed with truth, surrounded by love, she drew inward and prepared for the confrontation, ready to defend the space her heart had fought so hard to create. The moment arrived, a crossroads gracefully clad in anticipation, evoking both hope and fear. Stepping forward, Evelyn's heart thudded against her ribcage as she faced Clara amidst the gathering throng. Everyone paused, holding breaths as if the air compressed with tension, caught in the balancing act of unearthing resentments buried. In the luminescent glow of amber light, Evelyn raised her voice, fueled by deep-rooted emotion. The words flowed like liberated birds, unleashing truths of deceit and selfish ambition that Clara had hidden artfully beneath her polished exterior. As the unveiling rippled through the crowd, Evelyn witnessed a strange transformation, a bond forged on trust igniting response, where justice took root and ignited their resolve. No longer burdened by Clara's manipulations, Henry stepped beside her, strength and bravery emanating from both of them, illuminating the deepest shadows lurking within. Justice had finally transpired, as the community around them began to acknowledge the strength of honor and truth, now molded together in unison, rising to upend a web of lies once impenetrable, now dismantled in the face of love's fierce embrace. The aftermath of their truths reveled in euphoric relief. Love danced freely through the remnants of turmoil, flooding the estate with renewed dreams. Evelyn and Henry emerged from the rubble, united heart and soul. They stood together, a testament to the unyielding spirit of love. Families, once separated by uncertainty, began to bridge the distances, witnessing the resilience of love's embrace amid the turmoil that had threatened to tear them apart. In painted glances and shared nods, the bonds tightened. Reconciliation blossomed into something deeply meaningful. Together they crafted a more profound narrative, a tale validating hope and the unwavering courage to face the unknown. In blooming gardens pushing forth new life, the couple shared their vows, a promise not merely of union, but of understanding, acceptance, and nurturing each other through every season life would offer. The vibrant petals around them echoed their aspirations anew. As the sun dipped lower and the colors of dusk enveloped them, Evelyn took Henry's hand, embarking upon a shared journey toward an exhilarating future, molded by the brightness of love. In a quiet moment beneath the stars, Evelyn turned to her audience, her heart overflowing with gratitude. This magnificent tapestry, weaved through trials and triumphs, reveals a singular truth. Our hearts yearn for love, and love knows not boundaries. The gentle notes of the evening hung in the air, as warmth wrapped around every soul present. Her eyes sparkled with the reflection of their shared journey, filled with lessons learned, the importance of embracing vulnerability, finding strength in truth, and the relentless heart of hope that guided them through darkest days. Every journey, my dear friends, unfolds with the courage to face fears and to express heartfelt desires. May we all cultivate love that dares to transcend the expectations that bind us. This heartfelt declaration resonated deeply throughout the gathering. Each listener felt their hearts intertwine in a beautiful melody of seeking something greater. Let us write our own stories, filled with grace and authenticity, and during every moment we share, let us remember that love, relentless and pure, holds the power to heal and to inspire. The morning light bathed the estate in soft hues, awakening nature from its slumber. The gardens, once a domain of vibrant blooms and fluttering whispers of hope, now appeared as a canvas for a new chapter. Sunlight filtered through the leaves of the ancient oak, casting playful shadows, inviting Evelyn to embrace the dawn of possibilities unfolding before her. With each step she took outside, the air sang with life. Birds chirped melodiously, blending harmoniously with the gentle rustle of leaves. She felt a delightful balloon of anticipation rise within her. The love that blossomed during the tumultuous past few months was no longer hidden within the shadows. It radiated brightly, showcasing the journey she had traversed. As she wandered through the garden, she gathered scent and color, each bloom reminiscent of the moments that had shaped her heart, each delicate petal revealing a truth so profound, intertwined within the very essence of her being. Today, she would seize every moment, ready to embrace the unfolding chapters that awaited her heart. With the firm light of day embracing her, Evelyn understood she stood at the cusp of a life wholly hers, a life woven together with threads of both duty and desire. No longer would she yield to societal pressures or the constraints binding her choices. Instead, she dreamt with renewed fervor, eager to explore the depth of her relationship with Henry, guiding their shared purpose of love, entwined with freedom. As the day stretched on, the realm of responsibility echoed through the manor, a reminder of the numerous duties still to uphold. Yet, the balance felt lighter upon her shoulders. Conversations swirled and laughter resonated as family and friends gathered for soft afternoon teas, plans shared and ideas painted vividly against the canvas of their shared lives. In those moments, Evelyn could feel the joy of collaboration, two hearts weaving their desires into life's many obligations, inviting a deeper connection that breathed acceptance, hope, and unyielding love into every day. With courage bolstered by affection, she stepped forward, ready to build a foundation rooted in love and companionship. Evening approached, draping the estate in a luminous veil as plans for yet another gathering took form. This time, a celebration of love and unity among families. The ball would serve as a theatre not just of grandeur, but a convergence of hearts embracing shared dreams. Everywhere preparations unfolded in the manor, ornate decorations emerged, twinkling fairy lights strung upon branches like stars captured in a soft net of silk. As the guests arrived, a tapestry of colors danced through the thrumming connections bridging the clusters of families, transforming each corner into a vibrant spectacle. Lady Clara sat in her corner, calculating yet momentarily subdued, perhaps realizing that the tides had shifted, her dreams overshadowed not by her past ambitions, but by the light emanating from love nurtured out of challenges, a contrast that brought vitality to the air. Evelyn, swathed in rich silks outlined with intricate detail, descended the staircase proud and unwavering. She understood now that love thrived in the absolute authenticity, drawing all hearts together in fellowship, beyond just an enigmatic union of status. Contrasted against the backdrop of radiant unions was the faint shadow of lingering doubt. With every glance exchanged, the pulse of uncertainty barely tugged at Evelyn's heartstrings, reminding her of the struggle for acceptance she had once faced. Despite the elegant adornments and refined movements of her guests, she still felt moments when doubt pinched uncomfortably at the edges of her consciousness. Clara's sharp gaze pulsed toward her throughout the evening, a reminder of the persistent scrutiny lurking beyond the embraces of celebration. It was a fleeting whisper of disquiet, echoing the memories of struggles and fears that felt achingly real. Yet with each moment passed, the warmth of Henry's presence converged within her soul, igniting a gentle flame to smother her fear. The uncertainty that had once cast shadows upon her heart faded in the embrace of laughter, rekindling faith in the profound promise their love had borne. She understood through the chaos that true love could illuminate and embolden the collective spirit of the gathering, the brilliant threads emanating from their hearts blending together to create a tapestry of compassion far greater than any individual tale of struggle or sacrifice. The celebration pulsed with vibrant energy, laughter weaving intricate patterns as partners twirled across the polished floor, draped in fanciful gowns that cascaded like waterfalls of color. Evelyn lost herself in the rhythm of the festivities, savoring each moment of connection and joy, shared among friends and families eager to commemorate their union. Yet, even under the kaleidoscopic lights, whispers continued to flow like long-forgotten rivulets, gossip carried from lips craving both admiration and envy. Snippets of admiration about her and Henry entwined with judgment, navigating through the crowd like gentle currents, revealing the attitudes lurking beneath vibrant facades. Yet Evelyn was no longer a passive participant, caged by insecurities. Her heart fluttered as notes of hope became the backbone of their gathering, each celebration woven intricately into a patchwork of understanding. Freed from the constraints of their pasts, she learned that love was resilient. It blossomed even in the most turbulent of storms, and in this tapestry, acceptance and joy would undeniably shape their shared future. The beauty of the evening transcended mere appearances. Beneath the dazzling surface, there lingered tales untold, wounds still healing that entwined within the fabric of their camaraderie. Evelyn felt particularly drawn to the quiet corners of the gathering. There, friends and families engaged in dialogues of closure, each choosing vulnerability as a path toward shared growth. These secret stories bubbled to the surface, revealing the depths of their imperfections and humanity. While celebrations thrummed with joyous accord, she embraced the power of unveiling deeper emotions, understanding that honesty and the willingness to share their journeys fortified the bonds that strive to thrive amid uncertainties. Evelyn began penning her thoughts with unfettered eloquence, hoping to capture the truth lying dormant in each moment, a reminder to herself and others that love carried with it dualities, joy intermingled with struggles, shaped with every experience shared. This tapestry, alive with vibrant truths, illustrated the profound power of connection stretching across time and space, breathing life into every cherished heart as they united within their celebrations, collectively rising above their pasts. As the night wore on, Evelyn felt drawn to the inviting warmth radiating around her. Henry was close, floating between couples, shaping the ephemeral connections surrounding them. His gentle laughter echoed through the ballroom, wrapping itself in the melodies that harmonized above the clinking of glasses and joyous chatter. Out from the kaleidoscope of colors, Henry approached her with an affectionate smile, extending his hand, the intimate gesture drawing them closer, away from the prying eyes that scoured the dance floor. As they stepped together in rhythm with the music, Evelyn felt the weight lifted from her heart. The connection formed beneath twinkling lights radiated warmth like soft candlelight, illuminating the depths of their longing souls. In this embrace, clarity emerged. Each twirl became a testament to the love they nurtured, nurturing every unvoiced longing and transforming it into a blissful acknowledgement of their shared essence. It was a moment dripping with sincerity, sang a fresh tune amongst the chaos, affirming that together they could reveal their heart's desires and embrace the beautiful fragility of love for all to see. Stepping outside the grand estate, Evelyn and Henry found refuge in the stillness of the garden, bathed in the calming embrace of moonlight. The realm, once vibrant with celebration, now radiated tranquility. The bustling sounds lulled into gentle whispers. The air was rich with the perfume of evening blooms, providing a serene backdrop for newfound confessions. Here, under the lacy branches of the ancient oak, they paused in reverence of the stillness, where past struggles melted away, yielding to a shared essence of vulnerability and acceptance. Words spilled forth from Evelyn's lips, painting the picture of her hidden heart, while Henry spoke through the chorus of nocturnal life, their souls harmonizing with the serenity of nature around them. Each moment affirmed that they could be free to grow, driven by love and passion rather than fear. Together they danced in the profound silence shared beneath the stars, an unguarded embrace of the life waiting to unfold. The endless possibilities of their future splayed wide before them, nurtured by the bond they had cultivated within the quietude, yet the ghost of conflict still lurked beyond the serenity. As they soaked in the warmth of love's embrace, they were reminded of the looming shadows that had previously cast a pall over Ashford. Clara's last desperate whisper echoed like a sour note in their harmonious song. The moment felt tantalizingly precarious, the threads of their connection vibrant yet fragile, ready to snap at the slightest tension. Even amidst the beauty, doubts resurfaced, creeping like indigo shadows in the depths of their hearts. Evelyn resolutely pushed against the murmurs, vowing that they must confront Clara. As unpredictable and calculating as her presence had been, she could not allow the past to dictate their future any longer. Striving to secure their happiness, she understood that love thrives on honesty, and the very foundations of their bond were rooted in integrity. In that moment, Evelyn knew they must wield truth courageously, ensuring that shadows would not overshadow nor impair the blooming life they had created together. Determined, they rallied with newfound purpose, hearts echoing in unison against the approaching storm. As dawn arrived, it ushered with it a new possibility, a chance for justice enveloped in the first light of day. Under the vast canopy of renewed hope, Evelyn and Henry prepared to confront the darkness that had clung to their love story. Their hearts unified, they ventured back into the ballroom, now illuminated with the anticipation of unveiling truths long hidden. The townsfolk gathered, eyes wide with curiosity as whispers rippled in the air. Clara faced them, poised and arrogant, yet Evelyn felt the shadow of guilt wrap around her tightly. With unwavering resolve she stepped forward, each word echoing from her heart, as she recounted the betrayal witnessed, the tides of emotion rallying together to unveil the truth long suppressed. In that potent moment, Clara's mask slipped away, revealing the lack of genuine affection that fueled her ambitions, her deceptive charm exposed like moths caught in the light. The crowd gasped in recognition, sympathy blooming as realization dawned across the room. Justice transcended expectation, taking root within every heart willing to embrace truth as Evelyn and Henry's love story surged forth, resilient against the shadow of betrayal they had once feared. The truth spilled forth, the weight of uncertainty lifted, and akin to blossoms in spring, love flourished anew in Ashford Manor. Families intermingled, mending old wounds severed by the constraints of jealousy and deceit, stitched together through shared laughter and promises of brighter days ahead. Evelyn and Henry emerged hand in hand from the turns of conflict, standing as a united front, a beacon of love transcending the wounds nestled within societal expectations. Amidst the blooms of recovery, the couple exchanged vows under the open sky, each word woven with aspirations of acceptance, honesty, and growth. Their commitment echoed through the gardens of Ashford, where guests bore witness to the delicate promise made between them, trailing like blooms pursued by an eager sun. Inspired by the transformative journey they had traversed, family and friends began to embrace the intricacies of their own tales, rekindling connections buried under years of misunderstanding. In that beautiful garden, love burgeoned anew among them, a testament to resilience awakening beneath the gentle embrace of healing, hope, and renewed families stitched together by perseverance. In the final moments of the gathering, beneath the delicate veil of starlight, Evelyn stepped forward, her heart brimming with gratitude and emotion. Tonight reflects the journey we all take toward love, where shadows highlight our tenacity to spark hope. Her voice echoed softly across the grounds, a soothing balm wrapping around willing hearts. She asked the attendees to reflect on their own stories, the struggles, the yearnings, and the moments of triumph intertwined with love, acceptance, and what it means to embrace vulnerability. Ours is a tale of courage, taken together, breathed as one reality within a web of connection. Let your narratives intertwine with ours. Write your stories filled with acceptance and authenticity. She offered her hand to the universe, radiant with golden promise, as she invited each person present to remember that love, irrespective of boundaries, finds a way to flourish, each heart capable of healing and igniting flames that celebrate their spirits. With love as the purest expression of our humanity, let your voice be heard, share your truths, and embrace the profound connections that shape our destinies. Together, we rise to inscribe love's timeless tale. The cool evening air became alive with laughter and the gentle sound of clinking glasses, as the guests lingered in the gardens, soaking in the afterglow of the celebration. The star-studded sky twinkled above, casting a soft glow upon the festivities below, while the moon poured silver light on the blooming petals, each bloom a silent witness to the love stories unfurled beneath its watchful gaze. Evelyn wandered among the clusters of friends and family, her heart swelling with appreciation, taking in the faces of those who had gathered to honor the journey of love and resilience. Each smile radiated warmth. Conversations flowed like music, weaving through the night, filling the air with joy and shared hope. The garden sparkled with the glow of candlelight, illuminating the laughter and whispered secrets, a rich balm for souls acknowledging all they had endured. It felt as if the essence of the universe had converged to enhance this moment, inviting them all into a sacred circle of connection, where shadows danced alongside the light, revealing the profound reality that every significant tale was an intricate collaboration among hearts daring to love fiercely. As the festivities deepened, the weight of expectations initially imposed by societal norms felt like a distant echo, softened in the embrace of genuine connection shared by those present. Evelyn noticed that every laugh, every exchanged glance, every dance pulled them closer together, less reliant on identity and more focused on embracing hearts open to love. Families no longer tethered by ancient claims began to intertwine anew like vibrant threads. In this celebration, they dared to redefine duty, not merely as an obligation born of social contract, but as a conscious choice reciprocated through love in its truest form. Amidst the laughter, she turned to Henry, their fingers entwined, their eyes melding into a gravity that whispered of shared aspirations and fierce dreams. Each moment spent beside him fortified their bond, enriching their hearts as they navigated life together, understanding that the intentions to love freely and honestly created their own path, a path solidified by not just desire, but the profound respect and courage to shape their lives alongside one another. Night blended into ethereal twilight, where joyous hearts mingled under the expansive sky veiled with the starlight, setting the stage for the promise of possibility anew. The decorations danced under the moonlight, the flowers brimming with life, flanked by the swirling gowns of ladies and gallant attire of gentlemen, creating a spectacle riveted in the lucidity of love. Yet within this feathery romance, the spirits of doubt and envy still whispered close, reminders of what had nearly led them astray. Clara remained ensconced in the corner, though her fierce facade was softened, revealing the resolve behind her intentions. The gathering's energy pulsed stronger, empowered by shared stories of bravery and connection, spinning an atmosphere ripe with unacknowledged truths, ready to exalt their tales. Evelyn took a breath, feeling the space transform. Amidst the festivity, they danced not just as young lovers, but as a community acknowledging their layered tales. Uncertainty hung like a velvet curtain, inviting them all to witness the beauty that blossomed when hearts allowed love to outweigh competition, an invitation to become participants in the vibrant show of unity, because it was love that would forever break the chains of normative constraints. At the peak of the celebration, amidst the swirling gowns of joyous luminaries, the faint shadows of doubt began to flicker on the edge of Evelyn's heart. The evening, buoyant with cheer, whispered reminders of the longings she had spent years harboring in silence before emerging into the light of acceptance. Clara's lingering presence, intertwining jealousy and ambition, cast fleeting shadows that threatened to cast doubt over her sense of belonging. Though she had reigned victorious in unveiling truths, the remnants of emotional rejection still nipped at her heels. Evelyn held her breath, caught between the humanity of her own fears and the resounding warmth of Henry's unwavering gaze. His laughter, the very breath of life beating through the thrums of joy surrounding them, momentarily halted as he reached for her, a wave of understanding clear in his eyes. It became a heartbeat in the crescendo of the evening, igniting Evelyn's spirit with grace as she recognized the beauty blossomed in accepting the duality of emotion, the vulnerability that intertwined with the strength of love, ultimately choosing to dare embracing the spectacular possibilities awaiting them. As the evening rolled on and hearts danced in rhythm, the air grew thick with the chatter of delighted guests, their voices interweaving in layers of laughter and mischief. The ballroom echoed with the light-hearted gossips that swept through the throng like festive confetti, as stories wrapped in admiration persisted. The antics of the impetuous couples twirled on the tongues of the assembly, intertwining Evelyn and Henry's love story with whispers of their journey, trials faced and triumphs conquered. It was within this vibrant tapestry, sewn together with the intricate threads of connection, that Evelyn found reassurance. The opinions of others reflected a shared journey rather than an isolated tale. With Henry by her side, she stepped forth, adopting a playful air amidst the gentle barbs of frivolity, striding together amid flickering candlelight and smiles that ignited warmth across their neighbors' faces. The celebration pulsated with life, marrying stories into one grand narrative filled with joy, acceptance, and support, a beautiful reminder that while voices may twist around them, love and unfettered truth would always have the loudest song. As the evening unfolded, Evelyn contemplated the journey that had brought them to this joyous threshold. The shadows cast over their relationship dissolved into a vibrant tableau that transcended fear and uncertainty, leaving behind a realm filled with laughter and understanding. Yet she knew that buried within these walls were remnants of fears and struggles, the raw scars that had shaped their journey. Throughout history, love always walked alongside trials. It was woven into the very fabric of their existence, etching deeper understandings within their hearts each step of the way. With the evening's vibrant tapestry as her witness, she felt the urgency to share her truth, a secret long kept within her chest aligned with the wisdom gathered through the trials faced. Drawing Henry close, she dared to reveal her lost pieces, to illuminate the battles fought softly in silence. As hope ignited their journey forward, Evelyn understood that love flourished bravely when honesty became the balm to heal and guide spirits bound together, forging connections that rose beautifully from the ashes of past pain. In the muted glow of candlelight, amidst best wishes and stolen moments, Evelyn and Henry found a sanctuary, a place behind the relishing dances and glimmering laughter, unfurling softly into the promise of closeness. Together they settled out of reach from prying eyes, ensconced in shared space beneath the old oak, where whispers danced upon the evening breeze, their hands entwined in silence, each heartbeat an echo of their unspoken thoughts. Here, free of expectations, they uncovered layers long kept hidden within their hearts. The evening hummed with truths waiting to bloom. As they spoke softly about dreams of the future, no longer weighed down by obstacles or societal constraints, their laughter blossomed into something tender, a sanctuary for healing. They understood that the sanctuary they created mirrored every beat of their love, a vow to remain close, woven through intentions of growth, acceptance, and resilience. This is where true closeness resided, wrapped in golden threads of kindness and authenticity, an enduring promise to journey forward, boldly expanding the very definition of love they had fought so hard to create. As the final dance drew nearer, Evelyn stood under the starlit sky, serenity enveloping her heart, echoes of joy pulsating in the depths of a fulfilled promise. What began as a journey filled with hardship, she reflected, mirroring the glow of worlds converging upon each other, has transformed not just our lives, but countless others as well. With Henry beside her, she recognized the potent light that love ignites, the courage to break free of shackles, to face inherent fears with courage, and to embrace the undefined beauty of communal love. The tapestry of life unfolded in sync, revealing vibrant connections among hearts shaped through trials. As we step forward together, she urged, voice steady yet soft, remember that love calls each of us to weave our unique narratives into communities filled with grace. Should this story resonate within you, let it echo your hearts. Share it far and wide, and know the beauty of love still thrives and heals. Together we can illuminate our paths, united by the timeless romance that beats tirelessly in every soul, inviting us to write our stories.